And we are live. I want to apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for being just a couple minutes late. We were having a little technical difficulties, but we have it all worked out, and we're going to go ahead and get things started. So, hello, homemakers, and everyone in the chat, or if you're on the replay, hello to you too. Welcome to Homemaking with Purpose, where we bring to you the best ideas, interviews, and information for today's homemaker. I am Denise Jordan, your host, and tonight we're going to welcome Simply Cherie, your organized travel coach, and she'll be giving you the best tips and tricks to travel safely and keep it organized this holiday season. But before I bring Cherie on, let me remind you that this video is brought to you by Apron Diva, our online apron boutique. Pretty and practical, we believe that an apron can be a homemaker's best accessory. And tonight's featured apron is this one. It is the Carrie, and this pretty little artistic apron, as you can see right here, it has an apple pie right there on the top of the apron. Isn't that adorable? It is just so cute. For this week only, we've got the Carrie at 10% off. Just use the discount code Carrie10 at checkout. So order your holiday gifts now so that you can get them in time for Christmas. And if an apron is on your wish list, let your loved ones know. And you guys know, I've had a lot of men placing orders. So I'm thinking their ladies in their lives have been telling them, go on over and pick this up for me. Okay, so let's get into it. So please, let's give Cherie a warm welcome as we bring on Cherie, Simply Cherie, the organized travel coach.
Hi, Denise. Thank you for
Hello.
having me.
You are so welcome, so welcome. And the chat is welcoming you also. And someone is saying that it is snowing in Alaska. Well, we had snow
Wow.
days ago, so I'm not surprised it's snowing in Alaska.
Well,
I
I'm
would,
here in Arizona in Phoenix, so no snow yet.
no, you probably don't even get any.
Yeah, every few years, once in a blue moon, and we all like run outside and take videos and pictures.
We had snow a couple of days ago and it wasn't bad, but it was the first snow of the season and it was so cold. But anyway, we live in Indiana, so that's what we expect. So, okay, Cherie, I'm just so glad you were able to join us. And there are so many people that are beginning to travel again. Now that the country's opened up, people are starting to travel and they have questions about what they need to do. And you can see over here in the chat that everyone is just saying hello and
Hello.
hello. Mary Cleveland, hello. Mary, I hope you're doing well today. So we're getting lots of people that are saying hello. And and I appreciate them jumping on. So welcome, Cherie. Welcome, Cherie. And then
Thank you.
there's our Heart Hustle mom who's also given a greeting to me. So, Cherie, before we get started, you have to tell us about your homemaking journey.
No. Well, I've been married 27 years. It'll
Okay.
be 27 years in January. So I have two kids. My son is taking his master's, so he's older,
Mhm.
and my daughter, who used to be on my channel when I first started as Live Love Latte for way back,
Mhm.
she is now going to graduate next May. So I will be an empty nester.
All right. And you know, when I first came across your channel, it was a long time ago, and you were Live Love Latte. And as a matter of fact, my sister, Mickey Blue Skies, is the one who introduced me to you years ago. She was a big fan of yours way back then, and she still is now.
Thank you, Mickey.
Yeah, so and she'll be joining us tonight, hopefully. She's one of our moderators, and she'll be the one that chooses the person who wins the apron note and also who helps me stay on top of the questions.
Mm.
Well, okay, so I'm going to just go ahead and jump in with the questions. I don't want to hold us too long. So, my first question is going to be, how many bags do you recommend per person when traveling on a plane?
Okay, well, let me tell you, Denise, several years ago, I did a weekend trip to Chicago and
Hmm.
I had a large check-in carry-on, a large check-in luggage, a carry-on, a tote bag, and my purse for two
Wow.
nights and 2 days. And after dragging that down Michigan Avenue, I said, never again. So since then, I have always recommended to myself and to others that we take only one carry-on and one personal bag, which is what the airlines allow you. And the reason for that is, I mean, there's several reasons. One is definitely that it's a lot easier to travel with just one carry-on and your personal bag. And also you can avoid check-in fees. Different airlines are different, depends on which airline you fly with. But because I fly coach, one day, hopefully I will fly first class, but right now I fly coach. And so I avoid the check-in fees and I don't have to worry about that. I've had my luggage lost.
Mm.
And so when you're on vacation and you um, don't have your stuff, it just becomes a lot more stressful. So that was another reason I made the choice to only do a carry-on. And I've done a carry-on 3 weeks in Asia. I've done 2 weeks in Europe, and it's completely possible. Especially another reason is when you're if you happen to fly to or travel in Europe, there's cobblestone streets.
Hmm.
And to drag two luggages, even if they have wheels through on cobblestone streets, it's a little bit challenging. So there, those are just the main reasons why I recommend just doing a carry-on.
Hmm.
Is saving money, saving your energy, and it's possible.
Okay. So now I've got a series of questions that I want to ask you, but I know you also may just have some tips you just want to get started with. So would you like to just go ahead and get started, or do you want me to just ask the questions?
Do you want tips on travel right now during this time of in the middle of a pandemic, or you want
Yeah.
more packing? Okay, let's start with that. So, travel started actually even last year during the holidays. And if you followed the news, which I did, because I was like, I'm not going to travel during this holiday season. In fact, I didn't travel till this past June. And so last year I lost. No, I shouldn't say I lost because the airlines were very good as far as um, you know you couldn't fly last year, so they either held your money or gave your money. But some people have nightmares with that. So I lost a trip to Bangkok, to Munich. So all last year I just said I'm not going to travel, and I finally had I guess the willingness to see how it goes this last June. And so I did do some air travel. I think I went to 4 places since June.
Okay.
And I would say number one is that you have to always remember that travel is stressful,
Hmm.
whether there's a pandemic or not. And
Okay.
the pandemic just compounds that because there are rules that you just can't go around. And I remember on my first trip, I was just like, please, nobody take off their mask because I just want to go straight to my destination, which was Seattle, and it's a shorter flight. And I chose that on purpose, um, knowing I'd have to have a mask on for the 2 hours before boarding, and then the 2.5 hour flight, I think it is, and then, getting out of the airport. So, um, I just say that's it. You have to follow the rules. You can't get around it. You don't want to add hours, and you don't want your neighbor here adding hours to your flight because they didn't want to follow the rules.
Hmm. Okay.
And another thing is that what I found was the atmosphere in June was everyone was really quiet on the plane. And that's because we had our masks on. But
Hmm.
I think a lot of people were I mean, that's probably many of us, that was probably our first trip. The vaccines had already come out, or you could have had your second shot by then. So I think travel was a lot of first timers were traveling again. Um, and so it was really quiet. By the time in October I flew to New York, that was not a quiet plane. We all had our masks on, but it was not quiet. So I don't know if it was Seattle, New York. I mean, there's different factors, but it was more, you could tell people were more at ease
Mm-hmm.
flying and being in the airport, and there were no problems, at least on the planes that I was on,
Mm-hmm.
and thankful for that.
Okay. So, but what if I have a baby or a small child?
And flying at this time, oh
Yeah.
gosh, okay. That was the one thing I forgot. Okay, so when my I have little props here for later to show you some of the bags that I recommend. When I was a young mom, my son was I think like a toddler, like 2 years old, and we were living in the Philippines, and that was the time of SARS. SARS, there's an outbreak in Hong Kong,
Mhm.
and flew. Obviously, it's a little bit different an epidemic than a pandemic, but we flew from Manila to LA, and it was like maybe a 12-hour flight.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, there was no mask mandate, but we chose to wear a mask. And my son wasn't very like rambunctious, so he was good that way. But what we did was we took his teddy bear, his favorite teddy bear, okay, and we put a mask on the teddy bear, and
Mhm.
we said, you have to take care of, his name was Cuddles, you have to take care of Cuddles on the plane. He has to wear a mask because of, we explained it in our own little way. So if you wear a mask, Cuddles will wear a mask, and he will be just fine.
Oh,
And so, yes, and so he wore the mask the whole time, no complaints. And once in a while, I will ask him, can you see if Cuddles is okay? If his mask is on right, and then make sure yours is on right. And
mhm.
then that's how we got through it,
Oh,
both
wow.
going there and coming back.
That is really creative. I don't know if I would have thought of that, but that was really creative. Now, how old was your son? About three? Because I'm thinking like today, I'm thinking children under 2 or 3 don't have to wear a mask.
Well, it's children under 2,
Under
and
two.
so yeah, and so my son was 2.5, and that is a challenge. I mean, I see some of the kids when I was flying, and I was just like, kudos to you, because that's and maybe they're getting used to it. I don't know, but I was just like, bravo. Sometimes it's hard for the adults to keep it on, but the little kid to have that discipline. But that was just one creative way I had thought of at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and for you young moms out there, you could try that. And ultimately, if your toddler can't keep the mask on, there might be other ways to travel. Example, like a road trip, it would just be easier for everyone, you and your kids, if that's an option.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So, you were going to talk about bags, so let's jump right into that. Because I've got a couple notes here about, like, on one of your videos, you talked about having to buy a new bag because of the one you had wasn't the appropriate size for carry-on. And I know a couple of times I've been challenged with my carry-on bag, which I bought it for a carry-on,
Mm.
but a couple of times I've been challenged. But it does have one of those little zippers that you can like extend it a little bit. So let's talk about that.
All right, so I believe I was traveling to Japan, and
Girl, you were
it
always going somewhere.
oh, I wish I could go more. Well, I was traveling to Japan, and it was so fun. And the Japanese people are very polite,
Mhm.
very clean, very organized. I mean, I was just when I remember getting off of the subway and had to use the restroom, it was one of the cleanest restrooms I've ever seen. So, I mean, it was everywhere, very clean, they're very tidy. And I thought I was doing great with my carry-on, okay, because I had packed it light, but it was just a bigger size carry-on. And so that's one thing. They're a lot better now. Like if you shop on Amazon looking for a carry-on, they're a lot better at keeping the dimensions that you need for an airline. But you just have to check the website of that airline, make sure you have the right dimensions, and compare it to what is listed in whatever website you're shopping from. Of course, if you're shopping at, let's say, TJ Maxx, you would need to bring a measuring tape. But it was a little bit bigger, and I could tell the guy um, who's checking all the luggage as we're waiting in line, he totally looked at mine. And I was like, okay, mine looked a little bit bigger than the rest of my family's. And I'm like, oh, he's going to make me check it in, right?
Hmm.
And so after that, I can't remember if he made me check it in. I'm pretty sure he did because they follow the rules. After that, I said I'm going to get one that actually is the right. I checked a few websites and I got the right carry-on, and then I got a smaller one that goes under the seat. And that's the one that I use for just kind of overnight or 2-night trips, or even on a road trip when I'm let's say I'm in LA for the weekend.
Hmm.
It's just a lot easier when you have a smaller bag to just get in and out of your car and around the airport.
Okay. Okay. Um, Now, one of the things that I noticed that you were doing was in one of your videos was you were rolling up things in the suitcase. And I always folded things flat and maybe tried to tuck things in a corner. So, but you've got it down to a science. Tell us about that.
Okay. All right. So if you search on YouTube, you'll see like roll versus fold. And I had always thought rolling would save space. And so I looked at a whole bunch of videos and I finally got convinced. I'm like, yes, I was thinking the right thing. It is rolling. Rolling does save more space, and it actually helps with having less wrinkles on your clothes. So just imagine, like when you fold clothes, certain clothes, right, they have a crease when you fold it. So part of rolling is to help alleviate some of the wrinkles. But of course, you can most hotels or Airbnbs have irons, or some have steamers now, or
Mm-hmm.
you even have that little spray that's like a wrinkle release, so you can use that. So I and you can look at any Marie Kondo videos. But if you example pants, I fold it, right? And then that part that's sticking out in the buttocks area, you just fold that in. I fold it in half again, and then you just roll. And you roll as tightly as you can. And I like that because aside from saving space, that's how I also do my outfit. So I put like, if it's a pair of pants and a shirt, and the
Hmm.
next day I'll wear the same pair of pants, I'll put the other shirt next to it. So that's kind of the outfit is just in that little space in my packing cube. And so here, I have some examples for you guys. If you've never used packing cubes, I'm telling you, this is like the number one. Denise, I'm gonna send you some packing cubes. One of my favorite ones.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll show you this. So there are mainly two types of packing cubes. You've got these, right, that have a little bit more structure.
Hmm.
Most of them have a handle, or
Hmm.
they have like a mesh area, and that's to help your clothes breathe. And so this does not necessarily give you more space in your suitcase. It just organizes it because, like if you have this ribbing here, it's not going to um, give you more space. So they have different sizes. So like you see this,
Hmm.
and it's cute. And the main reason I use packing cubes, aside from organizing, so like this, you could put all your underwear in here. It's
Hmm.
categorized, or you could put your pajamas in here. And then most hotels, they don't have, or Airbnbs, they don't have liners in their drawers. So I just take this out of my luggage and I put it into the drawer, and it acts like a liner here between your clothes and the drawer. Because I don't know if anyone's wiping down the drawers in the hotel rooms, right?
Hmm.
And then they usually come with, let's say, like a laundry bag like this. And so I always, if you can always use the plastic laundry bag that they have hanging in the closet. But
Uh-huh.
if you bring one, you can separate your dirty clothes from your clean clothes, especially if you've been traveling for a few days. You want to keep that separated. And so sometimes they have longer ones like this, okay?
Hmm.
And of course they have the big ones. So here you could put like your main outfits, your dresses, your pants, your blouses. And then the second type of packing cube are ones like this. Okay, they're the ones that compress. They're compression packing cubes, and you'll see that there are two zippers. So there's this top zipper here, where you can roll and put your clothes in, and then they have a second zipper that once this is closed. Okay, so just imagine your clothes are in there, and here's a second zipper that you zip. Sorry if it's hard to see,
I'm
and
trying
you
to find your video where you show this. What's the name of that video where you show that?
It might be in playlists and like packing playlists. Um, I can't remember right now off the top of my head. And
Okay.
then you push this out, so you push the air out. Oops. You push the air out, and it actually compresses your clothes to give you more space in your carry-on luggage.
Oh.
So if you're going for, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks to, I don't know, let's pick a nice fun destination, to Milan, Italy, right? If
Mm-hmm.
Hi friends, it's me, Simply
Oh,
Cherie, helping you.
didn't mean to talk.
You can use more of a compression packing cube to create more space. Yeah.
Okay. I like that idea. I've never thought to do that before. So I'm trying to find your video where you showed that because I really like that idea of using those packing cubes.
Yeah. Well, it's a game changer. I used to not use packing cubes. I used to fold, I used to roll, and I used to not have packing cubes. And then after so many times traveling, um, this is what I just know works for me.
Okay.
Yeah, with the folding tricks, there's even you can I don't have a video, but other people have a video. There's even a way to fold your underwear. Okay. And I love it. I fold my underwear. It's I can't, I'm not going to show it now on live TV, right?
No, no, no,
Or
no,
live YouTube.
that.
Yeah. And there you'll eventually find a way to fold, like if you fold your clothes anyway
Mm-hmm.
for your home, you know the way you like clothes folded. And then you just um try different ways when you're traveling, and you'll see how you like it. But as I said, I like to roll. And so I've done where different trips, I don't always do it the same. Like sometimes in a packing cube, I'll put all the pants, all the bottoms, pants,
Mm-hmm.
skirts, shorts, all in one. And I definitely always um, plan your outfits. Let's say you're 4 nights and 5 days in a
Mm-hmm.
place it might rain. The weather's a little bit warm. So plan those outfits out. And so and like if you do a capsule wardrobe or something similar, if you have two bottoms and three tops, those can go for 5 days. So I like to plan that out, to make sure that they mix and match.
So you talked about that on one of your videos. You had talked about planning your itinerary. So tell me about that. Tell me what that means.
So right now travel is a slightly different. We made A lot of people are working from home,
Mm-hmm.
and so as far as when they're able to travel, it's a lot more open,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so it used to be, or you can plan it in where you pick a date when you're going to travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say during the holidays, you're leaving on a Wednesday, you're coming back on a Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
which is always crazy busy. Okay, so you have to know that, manage your expectations if you're traveling during the holidays. Like I said, pre-pandemic, it was always stressful. It's still going to be stressful even more now.
Mm-hmm.
But after last year, the holiday travel, I think those who work in the travel industry, they can accommodate better, right? Because they've been through it already. So when you pick a day, and I choose a destination,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes your destination is chosen for you because you're going to see family or friends.
Mm-hmm.
And then always check the weather. Number one, check the weather.
I
Okay.
always feel like I take the wrong clothes whenever I go somewhere. I always feel like I never bring the right stuff, even though I think I am.
Right, right. And the one thing you can do, like usually the weather app is what I use
Mm-hmm.
all the time. It's perfect. It's pretty on point, right? I mean, as long as the weather changes, it will tell you when it knows it's changing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's only 10 days out. So of course, some of us will plan our trips before 10 days out. So you'll have to check the weather. So all you have to do is go on Google and say, what was the weather in Milan, Italy in November 2020? Okay.
Guys, I just want you to hear how she's just throwing out these places, Milan, Italy, and all these different places that I've read about and would think, oh, I'd love to go. And she's probably been to lots of them.
Thanks, Denise. So just check what is the weather the year prior, the same month and the year prior. Okay,
Mhm.
as far as where and when you're thinking you're going. Okay, and that should give you kind of similar, even though whether there's those anomalies, it should give you kind of a ballpark range. So from
Mhm.
there, you can start kind of deciding what your wardrobe is going to be. Yes. Mrs. B says, I always bring half my wardrobe and overpack. Yes, I know. And I used to overpack, I'm telling you, but now I have learned not to overpack, and it sometimes it just takes practice, right? But you're gonna get it. One, if your goal is I don't want to be dragging my luggage through the streets and through
Mhm.
the airport and from the curb to the train to the bus to the Uber, I mean, it's a lot of work. Because I fly, I don't have a concierge and I don't need someone to bring my luggage, and that's just more money to tip and all that stuff. It's motivating to learn how to not overpack. And
Well, they
so
don't even have those sky caps very much anymore either.
yes. And then when you have them, I mean, it's I like to tip well, and so that cuts into like my eating budget, right? And I'd
Mhm.
rather have a gelato than keep tipping, right? I'd rather have 5 gelatos. Okay. And so check the weather. Okay, and then that's when you start planning your outfits, right? If you're gonna let's pick four nights and 5 days, and maybe one thing is you're gonna go to an opera,
Okay.
and then you check what is the dress code, right? And so a lot of the places, especially in Europe, the dress code is you can't, show your shoulders, you can't show your legs when you're going into these churches or, places like that. So check if there's any dress code for whatever show you're watching or for whatever landmark you're going to. And then, so example, I was actually in Prague and I did, this was the worst. Don't do 2 3-hour walking tours in a row, then see the ballet. I was absolutely exhausted, right? Yes, yes, with the gelato. So anyway, I had to get from my walking tour to my Airbnb, and I was exhausted, 6 hours walking,
Oh
but
my.
I had to catch the ballet. Um, and of course, the dress code is different from what I was wearing from a walking tour.
Mhm.
And so um, what so when I from the walking tour and getting to my Airbnb, I had planned my outfit where it was a quick change
Mhm.
because I basically had an hour to get from there, change, and then get to they're all within a couple miles of each other. And so that's another thing that you can think of when you're planning your wardrobe is just even the timing. If you're going to go from touring all day to a nice dinner at night, would you wear just a very comfortable slacks that you can walk um, that you can use as part of your walking tour or touring all day that looks decent. It's not like super casual, but it's nice enough where it could go into the nighttime if you don't have time to go to your hotel, and then you can bring a wrinkling, how do you say, wrinkle free shirt that you could put in your day pack or
Mhm.
crossbody bag that you have with you, and then something to go over. So those are things that I plan
So
when I'm
Mrs.
doing
B
my.
says, well, Mrs. B says she's learning that planning is everything. And I just want to mention you talked about in your crossbody bag. In one of your videos, which I couldn't find, um, is that when you were showing packing the bag, and I had written it down, and I don't couldn't find where I wrote it, which video was in, but you put a crossbody bag in that suitcase. So tell us about why you packed a crossbody bag, because you just mentioned it. So like, I never take crossbody bags. I don't particularly like them. Why should I take a crossbody?
Oh, well, I love crossbody bags. So the reason I take them is because when I travel, I also work. So I've had a job for 5 years that I work from home. It's with a software development company. So when I travel, um, I just let my boss know I'm traveling, and then I get work done usually at night when um, all the stuff is done for the day. And so I particularly like to tour. I like going to landmarks. I like going, all over the city.
Mhm.
And so so you can't bring a carry-on and a personal item and a crossbody bag, right? That's three things. You're only allowed two, right? So I
Uh-huh.
put my crossbody inside my suitcase. And then when I get to my destination, when it's time to go out for the touring and, enjoying the city or wherever you are, you can take that crossbody, you put whatever, your ID, your cards, the cash that you might have, a water bottle.
Mhm.
I always bring a water bottle. If it rains, you bring your little travel umbrella, right? Or one of those travel rain
Mhm.
jackets. And those all fit if you have the right size crossbody bag. And I prefer it versus a backpack. I see a lot of people with backpacks, and I'm just nervous with backpacks because when your backpack is here, like anyone can get to your back,
Boom. I guess I see
right?
why a crossbody is so important now. I
Yeah.
guess I was like shoulder bags, which when I think about it now, if you're traveling, and I don't think about somebody running by and snatching the bag off my shoulder or anything like that, or or with the backpack, somebody could just kind of unzip it and sneak in there. But you're so right. But I thought it was genius that you put the crossbody in the suitcase, and then when you got there you could take it out and then use it. That's pretty smart. So ladies and gents, I hope you heard that. Oh, look, we got a regional look at here, regional sky girl flight attendant, and she's enjoying this conversation. Boom.
Yes. You
Terry.
know what? You have to follow. I follow several flight attendants. I don't know, Regional Sky Girl. If you have a YouTube channel, I'll totally follow you because they are like the bomb. I mean, they know all the tips and tricks, right? And there's a few that I've caught from some of the, like, I follow Fly with Stella,
Mhm.
and some well, right now I just can remember Fly with Stella, but there's a few things I've caught from them, and I was just like, man, that's genius. And I've tried it, and I've added it to the things that I do because they know, right? Regional Sky Girl, I mean, this is your job. And so the main reason why we plan, like Mrs. B, she said, I'm learning planning is everything, is because with travel, you're going to an unknown. When you're home and like where the sugar is, where your coffee bar is, where the vacuum, where everything is, right? Where everything goes in place. But when you're traveling, you don't know the airplane. It
Mhm.
might be the first time you're flying Alaska Airlines or American or Condor Airlines, right? And you're getting situated, but you're only there for a few hours, right? And then now you're in a new another environment. You're in the Uber where the guy doesn't speak English, or you're in an Uber where they drive crazy, right? Who knows? And then now you're in an Airbnb or hotel. Your environment is always changing. There's always unknowns being introduced to you as you travel. And that's why planning reduces a lot of that travel stress.
Okay.
Okay. And so that's why planning is very important.
How should we
Okay.
handle medication while traveling?
Okay. Medications. Well, the medications, because I don't necessarily have prescriptions, but I always
I have
bring
a
your,
lot of I have several. And then I know some people that have a lot.
well, I would always plan. You usually get the pill bottles, right? The Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. If you have day and night, they have those everywhere. Walmart, Target,
Mhm.
the Dollar Tree, and you plan it out as you normally would. Some of you may keep them in the bottles in your cabinet, but now for travel, you have to put them in those boxes. And I like to tell people to plan, add an extra day or two,
Mhm.
okay? Because you never know what happens on your travels if you're like now and they cancel all the flights, and you can always have a canceled flight. You can always miss a flight.
Mhm.
That is the worst, when you miss a flight. Um and so just plan 1 or 2 days extra. and you won't have to be looking, especially if you're in a foreign country, what's the equivalent of Tylenol, or they're not going to have your prescription, right? Or if, I mean, you can't get the prescription, I don't think so, without a local doctor there. But of course, if you're traveling in the US and you need, extra Tylenol, or it's everywhere. And I'm sure if you're, I don't even know if you could get a prescription if you live in Arizona and you ran out in Philadelphia. Could your doctor put in the order at the CVS there? I don't even know if that's allowed. Does anyone know that?
Well, if you have a prescription and it's filled at the CVS, let's say in Indiana, and you go to Vegas and you run out of your prescription, you can talk to the CVS pharmacy there, and they, with their computers, they can get your medication filled for you there at the CVS there. But if it's a different pharmacy, you might have a problem. You'd have to have someone locally, I believe, to write that prescription for you. But with so many of the pharmacies being connected to a certain degree, like Rite Aid and Walgreens and all of that. Some of them might have a different name, but are owned by the same people somewhere. So just depending upon which particular brand you're with, you might be able to get your meds when you go somewhere else.
Okay. Well, I learned something new. Thank you. Now I know that. And it'll just be a little bit of trouble to,
Mm-hmm.
make that happen, but it can happen. It's not like you're not left with your
Mm-hmm.
prescriptions. And so that does think I do think about, like, let's say you lose. That's why I have a carry-on, because, like, what if you have prescriptions and you have some in your personal bag and then you have some in your carry-on? If you checked in your luggage and you happen to have important stuff in your luggage and they lose it for a day or two, you're left without it. That's why I'm a total advocate for carry-on luggage.
Okay. And too, they say you should always keep your medication on you. So it should be either, on your carry-on luggage or in your personal item too, like in your purse, or a lot of men would carry a backpack or some kind of small little thing like that that they can put personal items in. It's probably a good idea to keep your meds in something like that as well. And then let's see.
Would Regional Sky Girl know the answer to this? I would think that it's something you'd have to work out with the airlines and authorities.
So Regional Sky
Yeah.
Girl says baby milk and pump are not a carry-on. She doesn't remember if the milk should be frozen. Check with TSA before flying.
Okay, great. Thanks for that.
Yeah, baby milk and pump are not a carry-on. So Regional Sky Girl, when you say it's not a carry-on, does that mean that it doesn't count separately as a carry-on, and so that's an extra one, or you have to put that in with your other carry-on items? If you could let us know that. And then Joy says that CVS is Long's in Hawaii.
Yes, longs.
Yeah, some of them just have different names in different places. So there's that.
Mhm.
Okay, well, and then Mrs. B said you can definitely get prescriptions in other states within the same pharmacy chain. So okay, well, I think it's time for us to do an apron note. And Cherie, this is your first time with us, so you're not familiar with our apron notes. But here at Apron Diva, we put an apron note in every order. We've got 14 different notes, and they're randomly assigned. And we say, then you don't choose the note chooses you. And hopefully, it's just the note that you need for that day. And the note that we have this week is this one, and it says, "What you do matters." What you do matters. And we put the apron notes in because so often homemakers don't feel appreciated. And we want the homemakers to know just how special they are. So that's why there's a note in each one. And we want them to feel like it's a note from their dearest friend. So while the chat is telling us how that note resonates with them. So chat, let us know, what does this note mean to you? What you do matters. And then while they're typing in the chat, Cherie, if you could tell us how that note strikes you.
What you do matters. 100%. I think a lot of times we think what we do, even day to day, whatever we do in our home, getting, cleaning, getting the meals on the table, we
Mhm.
think, oh, here's just another meal I have to make, and then I got to go do this. And sit down with my family, or and we just go through what we think is ordinary and mundane. And I remember this quote, and I may not be saying it right, but he did the ordinary extraordinarily, and that's what made him amazing, or that's what made him extraordinary. And so when you do the ordinary every day and you
Mhm.
do it well, your family, they look back and they say, yes, I mean, don't you, if you had good memories with your family, just the ordinary
Mhm.
conversations, the ordinary, maybe it was a restaurant like the Village Inn or IHOP, right? So I
Mhm.
remember having pancakes at IHOP. That's a very ordinary thing, but you did that because you wanted to spend time with your daughter or your
Mhm.
son, and that what you do matters. It just shows how, when we put our heart into it and we do it for other people, they understand how much we care about them. So yes, I completely agree that what you
Okay.
do does matter.
Exactly. And let's see if the chat has anyone had to say about that. So Andrea Ayers says, here she is, she's doing her janitorial job, not super motivated, but her job matters. Thank you. Cleaning matters. A clean environment does good. And I have to tell you, I so agree with you, Andrea. When I used to work in the hospital and I would talk to the housekeepers, I remember talking to this one guy once, and he worked in housekeeping, and he was saying how he didn't think what he did mattered very much. Now I was working in intensive care, and he was saying he didn't think that what he did mattered very much. And I says, well, what you do is amazing, because if you aren't keeping the unit clean, if an infection rate goes up and the infection's out of control, that can shut the unit down. Then we don't have an intensive care unit for people that need to be in there. Or you might have one cubicle that has a certain kind of bacteria or something growing, and we can't use it. So every single important person on the chain is important, because what they do matters. But I think when me and Mickey Blue Skies thought about it, when we put together these apron notes, we were thinking too about, like you were saying, the little things you do, the meals you make, the pancakes, the cream of wheat. My grandchildren love me to make cream of wheat when they come to visit. I made cream of wheat for my kids, and they don't think two things about it. But my grandkids love grandma's cream of wheat. And whenever I go there or they come here, Grandma, can you make cream of wheat? And even though my son will make it for his girls, they say, but he doesn't make it like you. So just little things that you do, cleaning the house and cleaning the bathrooms, and even the making tea for my husband in the morning, little things like that matter. It just lets people know that you care, and they'll remember those little ordinary things, like having pancakes at IHOP. So yes.
Maybe
So,
one day I'll have pancakes at your house.
oh,
Can
I would love it.
I would too. Let me add to what Andrea or Andrea, especially now with travel. Every hotel, every restaurant, they have signs that say they've put extra cleaning, or they have followed, whatever guidelines for keeping it clean and safe. And so more so now, the a clean environment
Mhm.
not just does good, but it's vital. It's vital for people going out. It's vital for people to travel. Mentally, it just makes us feel safer. And so it's amazing um, how those types of jobs used to go unnoticed for in a not for you guys who are great, but for in a major way, how should I say? For the majority of people, we just don't notice. Okay, it's clean, whatever. But
Mhm.
now it's like, is this clean?
Yes, definitely important. So, Andrea, thank you for what you're doing to help keep the environment clean wherever you are. And then, hey, Michelle, she's on. And then Mrs. B says, what you do definitely matters. Anytime I see a random person, I always compliment them. And you see a grumpy person get happy. Sad people feel joy, even for a second. And some people want to stop and really need someone to notice them. So that's true too. So Michelle rewrote Hi Denise and Cherie. She had a few typos that popped up. Whenever you're trying to type on screen, something always goes awry. But yes, little things do matter. And then Mickey Blue Sky sent me a note, and she said that Sandra Tagabom is the winner for today's apron note. So Cherie, you will get an apron note because you're our guest, and I'll send one out to to Sandra Tagabine as well. And I think Sandra is in Australia, if I'm correct, if I'm
Mm.
remembering correctly. So hopefully she's still on. And then Regional Sky Girl said meds are not oh meds are meds are not considered a carry on. But men, I got that.
Ah.
Oh, that is too funny. That
Do they fit in the overhead or should it be under the seat?
under the seat, I don't know. No, maybe the overhead sometimes. I tell you what. Oh, that is too funny. That is just hilarious. Just hilarious. And Andrea, you are quite welcome. Okay, so we've had our apron note. So Sandra Tagaban, send me your email, send me your mailing address via email, and this is the email you want to send it to. And then Cherie, if you could send me your mailing address to this email, I will mail you out your apron note. Don't put your address in the chat, Sandra, because everybody can see that. Email it to me because we don't want anything weird happening here. So yes, so there you go.
I have a few more. If you still have time, I have a few more stuff I wanted to show you guys.
Go ahead, then go get right at it.
Okay. You guys ever see that gum where it's in this container? I
Oh
mean,
yeah,
it's a
my
lot.
husband has those.
Okay, it's a lot of plastic for gum, but so we try to reuse plastic. And so what I do is I use these for, like, let's say, cough drops. And I have a lot of cough drops because I have allergies year round. And so you can use it for jewelry. You can use it for something like this. You can use it for a little first aid kit. So when you go to the store, I like to walk around Walmart in the travel section, or Target, or even the Container Store, even the pharmacies, and look at the little containers and see what's in there, and try to find little containers like this. They even have the gum that's kind of like this big, right? You
Mm-hmm.
could put stuff in there. And then recently I've had these, they come in different colors,
In
and
cases.
they're supposed to be for
Oh.
toothbrushes and toothpaste. Okay. So for example, I always carry my toothbrush and toothpaste in my personal bag, right? Because it's a lot easier to get to after a long flight. I like to see if I can, like to try to brush my teeth in the airplane before I get off versus in the airport. And so you can put something like this, like, your less than 3 ounce toothpaste. These they have, like, at the Dollar Tree, the
Mhm.
floss. And it may not be like the perfect floss that you have at home, but it's something for travel. And you can see I use this. So I usually get something like this and I refill it. Obviously, I just came on a trip this weekend, so I have that. And the nice thing is that this sits on the vanity, and you could keep the stuff there tidy on your vanity, because the vanity in the hotel isn't a lot of space,
Mm-mm.
right? And then you could use the other one, and as a cup. You can put this with water, and you know, it's a cup. You actually have two cups.
Mhm.
Um, Another thing I have here is what's this called? The eye
Oh,
mask.
nice. The night
Okay.
mask.
Night
Mhm.
mask. Okay. And I like to get one that has already a bag that comes with it. So you want to make sure, if you order from Amazon, that it has a bag, because some don't. And then it has the Velcros for different size heads, right? And I like to look for one where you see there's kind of a hump, right? Because if you
Mhm.
wear falsies or you have long lashes, it's really nice to kind of have that space in
Oh.
there for
Mhm.
your lashes, okay? And I'll tell you one other place I went to. I went to Iceland, and the sun did not go down till midnight. And even
Oh,
though
wow.
they have blackout curtains in almost everywhere, there's still always a little sliver sometimes on the side of the curtain, and this was like perfect. Okay, and then another thing is that when you're doing electronics, so I mean, we have at least a phone. I think you might have a laptop, you might have an iPad, and so there's different ways for, like, when you organize your stuff for packing. This I consider visual. So when you put
Oh.
your electronic stuff, let's say your plugs, this is called gridded. Can you see the name? They're
Oh
really
yeah.
popular. Yeah, they're very sturdy. And so you can put it wherever you want and it sticks in there, right? But you can see it, right?
Oh, and your phone goes on that too?
Yeah, you can put your phone here, you can put whatever, your plugs, and it's visual. Okay, so think about this when you're packing, you're organizing your stuff. But some people, they like it hidden, right? Like, I don't want to open my bag and see all this stuff. It might be overwhelming for you, but
Mm-hmm.
you like to have it covered.
I like
Okay, so here's an electronics bag. This is by Bag Smart, I think, and you can open it and then it will have different pockets for your stuff. So the main
that.
point I'm trying to show here is that, are you a visual organizer or do you like things hidden? Okay. Same thing for makeup, right? You might want to have just it all in one
Mm-hmm.
bag and you like to rummage and that makes you feel good. I have a little makeup bag. That's how I used to do it. Or you can have something like this. So this is my everyday makeup bag and I also bring it for travel. And it's small because I have the same basic makeup every day for years. I tried to learn how to put eyeshadow and I'm just really horrible at it. But I like something like this where it has a mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you could see it has, I have my lipstick here and just some basic eyeliner and lipstick and what's that called? Eyebrow pencil.
Where's your foundation?
My what?
Foundation.
Oh, okay. That's the next one. So here in this other part, in the kind of the bigger part, that's where my foundation is. So I have my brush, my foundation. So that's my foundation. Okay, I know it's below 3 ounces. Yeah, 1.08 ounces, my brush,
Mm-hmm.
and then my concealer.
Okay.
Okay, and then sometimes I do bring my blush and I have my blush brush in there. But you could see that this doesn't take up a lot of space.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my. Um, and so you don't have to bring your whole makeup thing, right? And that's part of planning. Like if you're going to have, if you do wear eyeshadow and more stuff, I think that's part of planning your makeup also with your outfits. And then of course you have the clear bags like this, where whether it's electronics or makeup, you can see it. So it's contained, right? And it's also visual. And I think I have one more to show you. So this is, I love Travel On. Okay, that's the brand, Travel On.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes I just go on their website just to get ideas of how how to make things more efficient when I'm traveling. And so I actually keep two types of toiletries bags. This is a smaller one, and then I have my larger one. And I always keep, this is probably my a tip I really hope you guys take into consideration because it makes packing a lot easier. I keep a toiletries bag and I keep everything there. So I'm not grabbing from under the sink. I'm not trying to find, um, putting my shampoo into little containers. Once I do that, it all stays in here. And then I put my toiletries bag. I have a bin actually down here where I keep all my bags and they're ready to go. So when I'm packing, I just grab this and I put it
Oh,
in my suitcase.
you keep that bag packed all the time?
Yes, yes. And then you go, when you travel next time, you have lotion in there. It's not going to expire in Travel On. It's not going to expire in like whatever, in a year. I don't think lotion expires that soon. And then I have a larger one. Okay, and I did a little YouTube shorts on this. And I always like to get a toiletries bag that has a hook. Okay, as the same reasoning is that the vanity, the sink area, the bathrooms, especially if you're traveling with someone or you have a
I like
roommate,
that kind.
you always want to hang because it saves space and it's visual. Okay, you
Mm-hmm.
can see everything there. So the same thing, I keep everything here. Okay, sometimes I don't, with that smaller one that I just showed you, Sometimes I bring this if I'm not going to bring shampoo and conditioner because I know I'm in a really nice hotel. Let's say like at the Westin, because sometimes when I work, they put us up in the Westin, um, and they have great shampoos there. So I don't even bring my shampoo. But if you're very particular with your shampoo, conditioner, and all that, then keep one completely um, packed all the time, and you're ready to go. And your deodorant. This is hard to point when you're opposite. Deodorant. If you notice, one thing I stopped doing is I stopped getting those travel deodorants because
Mhm.
they just like fall apart. And I've noticed that the deodorant is 3 ounces. So it's going to, it's
Put a
under the
stick
TSA
anyway.
rules. Yeah,
And most of the deodorant, if you get a stick deodorant, it's not a liquid, so it works anyway.
right. And I found I don't know if Regional Sky Girl will say this, but I found TSA, they're different everywhere. Some will be strict, some will not. And so just try to play it on the safe side. And then as far as makeup remover, you have the travel size that you can always go
Mhm.
to. And now, and I'm sorry for those who are particular about plastic, but if you're just using this for travel, they have these mini single ones. So you see the space that you save,
Mhm.
right? So if you're just going for 3 nights, this is 20, or these are 7, and maybe you only need 3 because you're only going for 3 nights. So this could be space savers.
She's
Um,
she likes the fact that her stuff doesn't have to touch hotel room surfaces. So I think she's alluding to when you talked about those packing cubes, and then you can take the cubes out of your suitcase and put them in the drawer. Boom, that's genius. I just never would have thought of that, but I'm looking forward to trying a packing cube. I'm going to Tennessee in January.
all right, yes, and I'm sending you those. Okay, okay,
Okay,
I got two more. Two more. I have.
we're
Okay, for
good.
those of you who curl your hair or whatever, flat iron, most places have the hair dryer now. That's just like given, right? Given they have an iron, given they have a hair dryer, don't bring those things. But if you have a flat iron, they now have these, or they've always had these things where it's if it's hot, you just stick it in here like you're running, you're rushing, you got to catch your airplane.
Oh, it's got a heat liner in there,
Yes, yes.
like on an
So you
ironing board.
Yes, so you don't have to wait for your curling iron or flat iron to go down. You could just throw it in here quickly and then it'll be safe enough, right? And then lastly is this I think is genius. So I always get cold on the airplane and I always get hot. But when I get cold, sometimes the I definitely don't use the blanket, but maybe my jacket is too bulky, right? And remember I come from Arizona and anytime where it's cooler. I mean, it's so hot in the summer, like there's no way you're gonna have a jacket on the plane. But if you're going to a cooler place, I it's I just don't want to bring that bulky thing out of my carry-on. So I have something like this, which you can wrap yourself, right? You just need to cover yourself. You can use a scarf. But the nice thing about this, right, it could be a scarf, you could do it all kinds of ways, is that it actually has a pocket here, okay? A
Oh,
zipper with a pocket. So while you're sleeping, you could take your cell phone and have it close to you. It's not in your seat where it's going to fall in between the seats. It's not falling off your tray.
wow.
Um, they now have stuff where it can hold your cell phone, but you may not want to have it up there with, I just try to keep it safe. And then you can still keep warm and have whatever near you.
Okay. So let's see. Regional Sky Girl says, great packing tips. Sherry, this one, let's see. Mrs. B wants to know, do you have a video on your website that shows exactly how to roll clothes? And I know you do. I just couldn't remember the name of it.
I think I've shown rolling my clothes, but I don't think I've ever explained how to roll clothes. So, Mrs. B, I'm going to put that on my video list of explaining how to roll clothes.
There's
You've
one
seen,
where you were
oh, there,
showing how to roll up pants, and you were saying something about roll it this way because if you roll it the other way, the bulky edges or something stick out.
okay. Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's probably in my packing playlist. It might have been to a trip to Europe because I'm very particular when I pack going abroad because it has to be really efficient for me.
Let's see what else we got. Oh, I'm not. No, I'm not going to Nashville. I'm going to Memphis. Well, actually, Collierville, but I'm going close to Memphis. So, okay. So, I got a couple questions. Well, let's see. It was off the subject, but somebody said they had looked at a couple aprons that were sold out, the inspirational ones. Which one was it? Penny, which apron was it that you wanted that was sold out? Because we've got a couple of those ordered back in. Okay, what other tips you got, Cherie? I'm loving this. Just keep going.
Okay, you guys listen. I know it might, for some of you, it might be scary to travel, but take your time. You know, there's no rush. Travel will always be here. Travel may look a little bit different, but it will always be here. You will, when you're ready to get that bucket list going, um, it'll be waiting for you, right? Like Bangkok didn't move. I can still go to
Yeah.
I can still go to Bangkok next year, right? I can still go to Bali, and don't it misses you as much as we miss travel, but be safe, do it right, follow the rules, and you'll have a good experience.
One of the tips you said on two of your videos, one of them was you talked about the fun luggage tags that you put on. So if you could talk
Mm.
about that. And the other one was when you said, no one remembers what you wore. Talk about
That
that.
is okay. So for the fun luggage tags, I actually got it from the Container Store, but they do sell on Amazon. It's just like a pom pom. You just I mean, I don't know people who actually use luggage tags now, but I still use it for my carry-on, only because I'm a little visual that way where uh, I just can always see where my carry-on is, which sounds
Mhm.
really weird because it's always there. But if you do happen to check in luggage, and no matter what color luggage you try to get and make it look different, the luggage tag being different is going to help it stand out. It'll be easier for you to locate it when it's going through the carousel. And then as far as clothing, okay, so that's one part with why we overpack is we're trying to, this is not the only reason, but I would say a reason is if you're not on Instagram and you're not like a model on Instagram that is trying to show all the outfits of the day, no one remembers what you wore. Okay. You also don't remember what you wore. Like, I don't remember what I wore on this trip a year ago or 6 months. I don't even remember what I wore to New York beginning of October. I don't remember. Okay. And no one really cares because even when they're looking at your pictures, whether you post it on Facebook or you show it to your family, they're not looking at your outfits. They're looking at, oh, you got to experience that. Oh, I'm so happy for you. Oh, how was this? How was that food? Right? They're not looking at you. Um, and so when we can get over that, I think that is a big factor in overpacking. We're worried like, am I wearing the same thing? Hey, listen, I wear the same. Exactly. I don't remember what I wore yesterday either. And let alone 2 months ago on that trip, when what you remember is, oh, the time I had with my kids, the ramen that I got to eat. I mean, that's what travel is about. Travel is about the experience,
Mhm.
not your clothing. And so if you can get over that, you will wear the same pants 3 days in a row, but a different top. So you save yourself two bottoms from, having to pack those in your
Mhm.
carry-on.
You helped me so much when I watched one of your videos a couple of years ago. This was before the shutdown. And it said that it talked about how we always overpack and to try to plan your itinerary. So, but you also said, but when you take your next trip, when you get home, think about what you didn't use that was in your bag. And so I thought I had packed perfectly for the trip. And I didn't wear half of what I took with me. So when I got home, I looked at what I didn't wear and I thought, okay, next time I'm going to pack less. And I always still end up somehow packing more than what I need. But I am now packing less, because I think about what Cherie said, what didn't I use the last time? So don't pack as much this time.
Yes, I agree. Look at poor Ronnie Weaver.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
sorry.
yeah. You know what? Denise
Sorry.
done the wrong things, Ronnie. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Well,
And then
yes,
Miss
that's
C says, who cares?
and you're right, Denise. One thing I do, and you don't have to travel a lot to figure out what you do and don't use.
Hmm.
Okay. And this is even a skill set that you can use at home, right? If you have 5 small appliances that you don't use, you haven't used in 2 years, don't you talk about letting that go, right, Denise?
Yes.
It's the same concept. It's the same principle that when you travel and you brought 3 shorts and 2 pants, and you only use 2 of the pants and 1 of the shorts, well, do you really need the 3 shorts and the jeans, the black and the white? I mean, could you consolidate your outfits? And those 2 shorts, I mean, that's, the real estate in your carry-on is not a lot. I mean, you can squeeze it. You can use the compression cubes. You can use the little things like this to make things, as small as possible. But why not leave space? I try to leave space enough for at least 3 more shirts. And the reason for that is every time I go somewhere, because I do solo travel right when I work, I get a shirt for my husband and my 2 kids. So there has to be space for at least that. And then when you travel, don't you want to bring, I usually just bring a magnet for myself,
Hmm.
but don't you want to bring stuff back? Like I brought chocolate back. Oh
Hmm.
my gosh, that was the best thing. I brought chocolate back from Vienna,
Oh,
and
wow.
that was like my favorite souvenir to bring back. But you need the space to
Hmm.
bring that stuff back. And I didn't put it I didn't check in my luggage. So it's there with me in my carry-on. You see, so that's the importance of not overpacking. You bring stuff back from your travels, it's much better. That's much better than having extra outfits that you didn't use.
I agree with that. I will say though, and then I'll get to the lightning round because I promised you I wouldn't hold you too long. But the last couple of times my husband and I traveled, when we traveled, we went to Tennessee once this earlier in the year, and we checked our bags. And the reason why I'll check a bag now is, first of all, I always fly Delta, and I do that on purpose because I can get a free checked bag. And then I'm just getting to the point now where having to drag that bag through the airport is just too much. And even though my husband will manage it, I mean, he's getting older too. So it's just, like, and if I've got something that looks heavy, he'll want to carry it. Then he's trying to carry my bag and his bag, and I got a purse, and, I'm pulling something through the airport. It's like, let's just check it and not have to worry about it. But I do make a point to keep my meds, my computer, and my phone. Like I'll have a backpack or like some kind of a large purse that I can just kind of keep with me that will count as a carry-on. But we used to always do carry-ons, but especially if I'm by myself now, to have to pick that bag up and put it up on the in the compartment above sometimes is a little hard. So sometimes I'll check it just so I don't have to deal with it. But let's do the lightning round. You
Well, I'll
ready?
tell you, Denise, someone will put that in the overhead for you.
Okay.
There's a lot of nice people on the plane.
Yeah. All right. So
Okay.
we're going to do the lightning round. So let's
All
go.
right.
All right. Skirts or shorts?
Ooh, shorts,
Sneakers or sandals?
sneakers,
Sunrise or sunset?
sunset,
Bed and breakfast or Airbnb?
Airbnb all the way.
All right. Flight or cruise?
Oh, flight. Flight.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, a cruise is just so long and you get all that food and it's just, but yeah, okay. Inline skate wheels or spinner wheels?
Oh, skate.
Okay. I figured you'd say spinner because you were talking about one bag and you wanted to be able to. I like the spinner wheels though, so I can just spin the bag all around. Digital
Oh,
check.
I thought you meant like roller skates. That's so
No,
funny.
on the luggage.
Oh, Oh, no, 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 spinner.
Yeah, spinner wheels. Digital ticket or hard copy?
Digital.
And do you want to talk about, well, wait a minute. And then prickly pear margarita or tequila sunrise?
Oh, prickly pear margarita. I order that all the time here in Arizona.
All right, all right. Now, do you want to talk about the digital ticket or the hard copy and passports? You forgot to mention that.
Yes. So when I travel abroad, I always bring a hard copy. And the reason for that is I don't always have access to Wi-Fi. I figured, it's not all countries in Europe have free Wi-Fi while you're walking around. Now, most airports will have the free Wi-Fi, and that's when you probably need it. But let's say I'm getting from one destination to the next, I'm not going to have a Wi-Fi, and I want to look at where I'm going or what my reservations are. So that's why I usually have a hard copy for when I go abroad. But locally, in the US, since I'm from the US, um, everything is digital now.
Okay.
It's so convenient.
And what about passports?
Well, I decided to use my passport as ID,
Oh, goodly.
for my national trips this past few months. And the reason then that's just because I'm overly cautious.
Hmm.
I do have in Arizona, you have to have a travel ID. It's different from just a regular driver's license, but
Hmm.
they've extended that now, I think, for another 2 years. But eventually, everyone in Arizona, you can't use your driver's license as ID at the airport. You have to have they just put like a little star on your driver's license. But
Hmm.
just to be sure, I had my passport as ID. And but when example, we went to New York, and in New York, you have to show your vaccination card and your ID when you go into the restaurants. So we just
Your
had a picture
vaccination card and a travel ID, or your vaccination card and your like driver's license?
license. So they just wanted to check your name to the vaccination card. So we just had a picture of our vaccination card. I know New York actually has an app, but the picture was sufficient because I read through some website and they just said, um, a, a picture was sufficient. And then um, I just did my driver's license because I'm not going to show my passport out in the restaurant.
Hmm. Well, and so many people don't have a passport. If you've not traveled outside the country, you don't need one. So many people don't have one, but um I have one because we've been like to Jamaica and the Dominican and a few places like that. But the other thing about traveling, I thought you might mention, is that you probably should have a copy of your passport somewhere in your bag. Like make a copy of it and
Oh
have
yeah.
that somewhere on your person or in your luggage. So in case you lose your passport, you at least have the numbers and it's easier to recover or get a new one if you've at least got the basic numbers that were on it, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So with traveling abroad, it takes a little bit more planning, especially with the documents. So definitely that you can keep a hard copy with you. Since you have your phone, you can always take a picture of it also and put it in your notes. And under notes, you can have a folder and you just put their travel documents. So that's what I did even with my vaccination card is I took a picture and I put it into a folder in my notes because I have an iPhone and I put travel documents. So whatever other documents I needed, I could put in there. And then also for when you travel abroad, you always, if you're a U.S. citizen, you always want to go on to, I can't remember the website, but I think it's the Secretary of State website where you put in your your travel days, and you try to put in the address and stuff so that if something happens abroad and you need to be you need to be evacuated by helicopter, they know where you are. You're registered. Okay.
Oh,
And
now say that again. When you go
it
to a country, do what?
when you go out of the country, always go. I don't want to give wrong information, but I think it's the Secretary of State website. Does anyone know if Regional Sky Girl, you're still here? Um, whether it's business or pleasure, I always register myself as a U.S. citizen traveling. I put the dates, I put the hotel or Airbnb information, any phone number. They have all. It's really easy. It takes less than 10 minutes to fill out. And so if there's ever an emergency in the country that you're visiting,
Hmm.
you're like registered now. Thank God I have never had to see if it actually works. Uh, but
Yes.
the reason I do that is because I'm Filipino. So when we visit the Philippines, Philippines is actually on the list of countries that sometimes have a yellow alert flag. So I've always registered myself. It's just become a habit, whether I go to anywhere outside of the U.S.
Okay. And then Mrs. B said she found your channel and sub. So you
Oh,
guys,
thank you.
Cherie has given us so many great tips. So please go over and join her family and just kind of you can get more of this goodness on a weekly basis. So please do that. And I think we've covered everything. Cherie, I want to thank you so much. You have really given us some good information tonight.
Thank you, Denise, and thanks for your friendship. One thing, you guys who follow Denise, I can, you obviously see why you love Denise so much.
Oh,
She's we talk outside, outside from like this. We've talked a few times even before she
mm.
thought of interviewing me, and she's just you're such a lovely
Oh, thank you.
being and a lovely homemaker. I'm so excited about your business, your YouTube channel, and I just wish more success for you.
Thank you. We'll have to talk about that business piece too, because I tell you what, I've learned so much. And then for Penny, and there was someone else that said they were interested in the inspirational apron. One of them that we're out of, we've ordered some more in, but they're not here yet. And we're going to have those inspirational items on sale. I think we're doing Cyber Monday. We're going to do the inspirational items on sale. But so several people are subscribing to you. So that's a good thing. Let's see, where was it? Right there. Ronnie Weaver said she's subscribing and she's looking forward to your video. So yes, people, go on and join Cherie's family. So as we begin to travel, and today we mostly talked about flights, but there are also some tips for road trips that you can learn at another time. And you can check out the videos that she's got on how to roll your clothes and that kind of thing. So let me go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ronnie. Thank you, Mrs. B. Denise, I've just put in the chat. It is the Secretary of State. It's called step.state, and that's how you register when you, it's a smart traveler enrollment program when you travel abroad.
Okay. I got to find it.
It's in our private chat.
Oh, I don't know how to get there from here.
Okay.
Oh, wait, there it is. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, shoot. What did I do?
Nothing.
Oh, okay. I clicked on it and then I was like, oh, wait. Because all of a sudden my screen went black. Okay, so now back over here and now here. Paste it in there.
It's called the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program. It's with the Secretary of State. Okay, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. So right there. So let me give the announcements and the invitations, and then I'll let you guys go. So I want to invite you guys to check out my Thanksgiving 101 playlist where I show you how to make all things Thanksgiving. I also have a link in the description box. Well, I guess I better put it in there. That has a link to my 21 days to get your house ready for the holidays. Also, for those of you that are struggling with grief, depression, and anxiety for the holidays, remember Anitra's grief conference is on November 20th. Anitra was on our show about 2 weeks ago and she talked about grief, stress, and the holidays. She was amazing. And she's hosting a grief conference this Saturday. So the link is here. So you have to go to the Facebook page, Grieving with Hope with Anitra and Janelle, and then you can get the link to the grief conference. Since they have it on Facebook Live, they don't just put the link out there. You got to access them to get the link. And there's no show next Thursday because next Thursday is Thanksgiving. I will put up a placeholder, but I'm not going to be here live. I'm going to be eating turkey with the fam. And then on December 2nd, our guest is going to be Dawn from the Minimal Mom. So be sure.
Ooh.
Yeah, that should be a fun one. And then also be sure to join us for Apron Divas Black Friday Super Sale the day after Thanksgiving. So, in the meantime, this is Denise Jordan saying you're not done yet. Click on the link in the comment section as soon as I put it in there, which will give you access to my Thanksgiving 101 playlist. So, Stephanie, our brother Stephanie joined us.
Hi, Stephanie. Guys, happy Thanksgiving. Can't believe it.
Yes. Sherry, you're her best friend.
Oh, thank you, Mrs. B.
Big fan of yours, Sherry, from Stephanie.
Yeah, hi, Stephanie. Happy Thanksgiving, Penny.
I'm not sure what that was, but I missed something.
Oh,
But okay. All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Be sure and go over and check out Sherry. Don't forget that apron is on sale this week, 10% off until next week. And we'll see you later. And Sherry and I will hang out for a little bit. Bye.
bye, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.